Within the biblical archetypes, there is the archetype of the two trees in the middle of the garden. There are two trees in the middle of the garden. One tree is called the tree of life. The other tree is called the tree of knowledge. The tree of knowledge is not just the tree of knowledge. It's the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Mystics explain that before the tree of knowledge was the tree of knowledge of good and evil, it was the tree of knowledge of is and isn't. It was only from the perspective of eating from the tree of knowledge and being in polarities, the tree of knowledge is called tree of knowledge of good and evil. And prior to, when you eat from the tree of life and you look at the tree of knowledge, you see that the tree of knowledge is really the tree of knowledge of is and isn't. It's the tree of knowledge of truth and falsehood. In the archetypes, there is this angelic being that's created, formulated into existence in a material form. Not quite the earthly tier, but in a dimension nearby called Eden. East of Eden. The Elohim, which is varying powers, energies, expressions of source energy, they get together and they say, let us make man in our image, in the divine image. And what's unique about man, this Adam HaRishon, is that he was unique in that in the archetype, he's an amalgamation of all the varying music of source throughout all the dimensions and galaxies. Each aspect contributes energy to help formulate man. So man is comprised of, like a United Nations of energies. Some filter into the body consciousness, and some filter into the cognitive abilities, and some filter into soul, and some filter into the higher soul, and some filter into the collective consciousness. And it's through this drama that their actions are all interrelated, interconnected, because all of them are creating this narrative of true love that is existence of this Adam HaRishon, this special man, that consciousness. The understanding is that this light that's being entered into an existing construct, and it's very, very clear that the material world was well underway in existence before this angel, Adam HaRishon, descended into it. And in contributing Adam HaRishon, this angelic, very lofty energy and presence, this energy is, so to speak, seduced into eating from the tree of knowledge, the tree of is and isn't, the tree of good and evil, before he eats from the tree of life, according to the archetype. And the mystics explain in this archetype, once he ate from the tree of knowledge, which became the tree of knowledge of good and evil, Adam HaRishon, this angel, this ascended consciousness that was so lofty, all creation began to confuse it with Source itself. Its consciousness became so fractured by eating from eating from a consciousness of knowing what isn't, that eating from this tree created a stamp on the bodily consciousness of Adam Rishon. And the body consciousness, body energies of this creation, this creature, had, instead of an equilibrium predisposition, it had a predisposition to learning from struggle and learning from survival and struggle. And we call this construct evolution. Evolution is a construct whereby it's called survival of the fittest. All of creation, they're programmed in their form, in their genes, in their body consciousness to strive to survive. And in surviving, get stronger and adapt. And it's a slow, methodical process, very slow. It takes so long to adapt. And the growth is all yielded through struggle and survival. And, basically it's either fight or flight. It's either aggression, oppressing another, or aversion, and learning from this, and thriving and growing. And it's a long process. And it's a process the scientific community witnesses all the time in creation. It's called evolution. There was another process. The process is called the short path. And mystics call it the short path. Kritzat Haderach, they call it. Or sometimes they call it the straight path. Derech HaYashar, straight path. And this path is called the path of the tree of life. The path of the tree of life entails not learning from struggle, not learning from fight and flight, and growing, getting stronger and stronger, slowly, methodically, but to leap into your next step of evolution, to leap into your next step of ascension, advancement, not by struggling with everything that you're not, but by finding everything that you are within. And that's alluded to with the archetype of the tree of life. Through the reservoir of within the heart, an individual can begin to become cognizant in the perception of the unity, the connectivity of all things, how they're all interconnected and flowing through them in oneness. And in that space, an individual can ascend their consciousness beyond the polarities of struggle, beyond the polarities of learning from retreat, of being oppressed or oppressing another. And they can leapfrog evolution and actualize their ascension far quicker by, instead of learning what is, by knowing all that isn't, embracing what is in actuality of all within. And as you discover it within yourself, you recognize it throughout. And how beautiful and elegantly all of life is interplaying with each other to help actualize this true love story.